How's it going, everybody? Recently, I came across a term called poverty premium, and this really got me thinking about what it means to be poor. And if you don't know, the term poverty premium refers to the fact that the more poor you are, the more you will spend on essential goods and services. And now I would really like to get a discussion going. So if anyone has also ever heard of this term, please let me know what you've heard about it, or if you can give me any examples of how that affects you or anyone you know. And now I just wanted to start with this because it really got me thinking about the fact that the more poor you are, the more you're going to spend. And for example, if we look at food, and without even going into the topic of eating healthy, eating a balanced diet, buying organic food, this is just to have your tummy fed and for you to get on about with your day. And that is a very harsh reality considering the UK as well is supposed to be a first world country. And if it's not food, it's things like housing. And from my perspective, housing in the UK, well, this is not even only my perspective. I think everyone can agree. But it is a crisis and it's affecting a lot of people, not just people renting, but also people who own their houses. But for me, I don't really own a house in the UK myself. But what I do know from renting is that you see a lot of people, even in their 40s, that are living in rooms because that is what they can afford, especially on UK salaries or when people are losing their jobs. There's not much else you can do. So then you opt to live in a room. And that just means you get a decent sized room. And that costs at least £1,000 minimum in London just to have a good sized room in a good location. And that costs a lot of money compared to how much people are earning. And then if we look at housing, it's also that when people don't want to live, with housemates, then they'll say, okay, I'm going to live on my own. And then they go for somewhere cheaper. And that usually means it's not the best location, but it's cheaper. And the thing is, when you opt for cheaper, you pay for it, right? For example, it's so common in the UK where landlords, they prey on the fact that people are looking for somewhere cheaper and they're desperate. So, for example, if you need things to be fixed, they're not going to be done on time. You have issues where, someone has mice in the house and they need them gone. They need that sorted out because that affects your mental health. That affects everything because your home is meant to be a peaceful place and you're spending so much money to stay there. But now you have mice everywhere and your landlord is not fixing it. Or they tell you, we're going to fix it and the council's coming. But the councils in the UK, they're notorious for being so late to fix anything. And I'm guessing it's kind of happening everywhere. I've seen so many documentaries where you see it happening in the US. I see it in other countries as well. For example, I've seen even examples of Japan. And that is insane. And when you think about it, these are countries that are they're developed countries. They're meant to be doing better. And anyway, that's besides the rant. My point is, nothing gets fixed because, well, you're paying cheap. The landlord doesn't care. They only care about the money that they're getting at the end of the day, which is very sad. Now, this is going to be a controversial topic. A lot of people love to make fun of British people, saying, oh, British people have bad teeth. But then no one ever stops to ask why. Why is that? We have free healthcare. Why do people have bad teeth in the UK? Well, it's not out of choice. It's so expensive to get your teeth done in the UK. Okay, it's insane how much they're charging. Well, while we have the NHS and you can get an NHS appointment, it's not for free. It's at a discounted rate. And the discounted rate is not even that much, considering how much it will cost you in the end if you need to, for example, get any treatment done. And I've known a lot of people who've tried to get these NHS appointments, but, well, they're nowhere to be seen. I applied for an NHS appointment about just after COVID in 2021, 2022. And, well, here I am. I'm still waiting for that appointment. It has never come for me. And so I had to pay out of pocket private healthcare just to get my teeth done. And a lot of the dentists in the UK, they're only accepting private patients. And that is wild for me because we live in this country and we pay really high taxes, but we don't really get to spend our money. Well, we don't really get to see the fruits of our taxes that we pay, which is insane. And yeah, so for example, I've known people who've been quoted 1,200 for a root canal, and that's insane. That's an insane amount of money in perspective. That's an insane amount of money when you think about how much the national minimum wage is in the UK. In the UK, the national minimum wage amounts to around 1,800 approximately a month, which imagine then you need to have your teeth done, well, your root canal for one tooth, you need to have it done for 1,200 and you're earning about 1,800. That's not a lot of money that you'll be left with at the end of the day. And you have to pay your bills, your rent, your food, your transport. We have the highest cost for transport, for public transport in the world, in London. Insane. And that is exactly why people should have an emergency fund. Because if you don't have an emergency fund, you're going to be left stuck and you have to get into more debt just to get yourself out of certain situations that you don't want to be in. And that is really sad. It's a very sad reality when, well, we're supposed to be living in a first world country. But yeah, that is my rant over, and that is my research over. If you can relate to this, or if you want to touch a little more on this topic, or if you want to talk with me as well on this topic, comment below. And if you're not keen to discuss, at least leave a like, show that you notice me. And if you can, subscribe. I'm not holding you hostage, but if you can, please do subscribe. Bye for now.